offensive category is the power sweep, as we call it. Actual number of that play is 49, and the reciprocal of that is 28. 49, 28. It's the power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Hello, welcome back into Packers Playbook, where we will be talking and running through three plays from the Packers this week. Loss over the Falcons. I'm Dusty Evely. With me, as always, is 97.3's John Kuhn, and not only just 97.3's the game's John Kuhn, recent Hall of Fame nominee. Congratulations, John. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Dusty. Cool honor. A surprise, nonetheless, but a pretty cool way to spend a Tuesday being congratulated for that. So thank you.
You bet, man. All right, we got three plays today. We got two on offense, one on defense. We're going to kick it up on the offensive side. As always, we'll kind of just start this off. We'll run through it, and then we'll kind of break it down and go through a little bit more. So this is going to be the sack of Jordan Love. 11 personnel. We got kind of a strong line with Taylor on the left there. Kind of a blown coverage. Not blown coverage, I guess. The blown look, and we'll look at it from this side. It's going to be 55. Shooting through the gap. This is probably the angle we will live in here. I mean, that's about as easy it gets for a defender, John. What do you see on this one? What's the protection? What are they going here? What do you think the cross up is on this one?
Well, so this is 3rd and 11. So
Yep.
Packers are trying to set up something that they can get a completion around the sticks. In order to get that time for the receivers to get down to anything, what you would call 3rd and long, which is 3rd and 10 plus, you're going to need firm pocket protection in the middle. So you want to give some help to your tackles on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
In doing so, they have this bump protection on, or this chip protection on, or a thump protection. They'll call it any of those kind of combinations. And it's the tight end on the right, as you can see, and the halfback on the left, as you can see.
Yeah.
They're there to give support to the tackles. However, the protection's scat. So it's really only 5 offensive linemen for this protection. So if you bring 5 the wrong way, or even 6 as a defense, you put the offense in a bind. There's a couple things the Packers can do for this. They can call the halfback back into the backfield and have him get the protection based off of the center, or they can continue to run scat, and Jordan Love knows my extra blockers that are helping on the outside, they're not going to stay there forever, and they're eventually going to release. So if he doesn't have a receiver downfield, he has to check it down to them. What Jordan Love decides to do is keep the scat on, and he knows which way the center pointed. He made a right declaration, which means he's going to that Mike linebacker right there. Elton Jenkins blocks down, and then Rasheed Walker over here on the left, who should have the defensive end on the outside. He knows he's the backside of this little bit of a pocket slide protection. So he knows he has to squeeze on this for that blitzing linebacker through the hole. That's where the bust occurs. And had he stepped down to block that backer, then Jordan Love knows I have about a 2-second bump block with Patrick Taylor before I either need to dump it down to him or find a receiver downfield. And as you let this thing play, you can see everything else is blocked up pretty well except for that one blitzer.
So is this just, I mean, is this something where, because that linebacker, you can see, I mean, he's walking down late. Is this something that is, say, a lack of recognition by Walker, or is this on Love as far as not, I mean, it sounds like it's more on Walker, but is this possibly he gets called in, he was not expected to start, he's not used to playing next to Jenkins? Is this a continuity of the offensive line thing, or is this just something Walker should have seen with that guy walking up and you don't get up inside pressure like that?
Yes. All of That's the way I'll say it. It's a guy playing a very complicated position with a nuance to a protection that you should know, but it takes some time to learn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So all the above makes sense. Yeah, that's one of those that you see that and you go, what happened there? And then you look, you watch the film and you go, okay, that's exactly what happened there. All right, man, you got anything else on that one? You want to move on to our defensive play here?
Well, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of good to pull from this football game. There was some good plays, but we're going to focus a little bit on the negative here. And this was really a play that I thought was a huge turning point in the game, which was the flea flicker for the Atlanta Falcons. They had the Packers on the ropes. They were running the ball at a pretty good clip against them the last two series. This one, a 3rd and 3. The Packers, take notice, have base personnel out there, meaning they got their normal 3 down linemen, 2 outside backers, 2 inside backers for what is generally an 11 personnel group for the Falcons. For all intents and purposes, it's 11 because in one of these tight ends, they don't normally count as a tight end all that often. Yeah. So as you watch this thing develop, you can understand the bind that the Packers got in here being in base personnel against what's really a sub package for the Atlanta Falcons. And why are they in base personnel? Well, because the Falcons were running the ball so aggressively against them that the Packers had to bring an extra man to the party. And with it being 3rd and 3, the Packers were trying to load up to stop a run play here. Now, Dusty, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you right now before we even snap the ball. Tell me, there's 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me who has who.
I would say, I mean, if you're mixing this, I'd say Jair has the outside. So if they switch release here, he'd be picking up that dude there on a vertical. Be picking up him on the inside if he's crashing. It looks like he's coming down, so I would guess he's got him, which leaves this man, I don't know, backer at that point, right? Because you're outmanned at that point, right? You've got 3-2 at that point already, if I'm not mistaken.
Here's the tough part. I spent a long time looking at this play, and I know Jair has Drake London. And I'll tell you why I know, because at the snap of the ball, Drake London goes back to take the handoff from the running back, and he just stands flat-footed. So Jair has Drake London. He's matching on this play. And I know that Rudy Ford is coming down into the box because Kyle Pitts, the tight end, one of their big receiving threats, is sitting right there off the tackle. He's staring straight at him. He has Kyle Pitts. What I don't know is who in the world has Mac Hollins on this. I cannot tell you. I don't know Packers defense today who has Mac. Who's right here? There's not.
He's already gone.
Snap of the ball, because the Packers don't have enough sub defenders for the sub skill players for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, because that's even because my initial thought before we'd even run it, because I forgot where Mac Hollins was. Looking here, if you're hiding him a little bit, I think that makes a little more sense to get lost in the wash, right? Like maybe that's a linebacker to pick him up or something. And that's just top man in the stack.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom that actually happened that way, but that's what happens when you get trips versus base defense. Rasul Douglas, I would think Rasul Douglas should have come over and played that back with Jair, unless they're in some sort of zone. But it doesn't look like that to me based off of the way that Jair reacts to this. You would anticipate Rasul coming over and helping side, because I can't imagine that the Packers would want to waste Rasul on a blocking tight end on the other side of the ball. So this is just one of those unfortunate plays. And even as it plays out, Darnell Savage, who had a rough game tackling, was in position to make this play and force a 4th down, but he just mistimed his jump and let his high point this football.
So, John, I mean, listen, we're going to play hypotheticals here for a second. Let's say this wasn't a flea flicker. Is Mac Hollins still wide open down the field? If Mac Hollins runs vertically and they still do a little bit of that action, Mac Hollins is still wide open, right?
They run 2 jet exact same routes. They 2 jet the exact same routes. Mac Hollins run wide open down the field.
Yeah, and Hollins kind of stops. He's looking to sell that. It looks like he does a half sell of the crack block there.
Yeah.
Slow walks him, but he doesn't even do a whole lot to get open. That's fun. Hey, thanks, John. Thanks for walking through that. That was fun. All right, man. You want to look at that from another angle? You got anything else on that, or are you good on that one?
Let's see it from the tight copy. Let's see if we can look at Rudy Ford's eyes as he comes down to see, because I'm still trying to figure out, is Rudy Ford supposed to have Mac Hollins? To me, it looks like he's looking at 81 the entire way.
Yeah, his eyes flip. guys flip backfield, so it's almost like he settles into that, almost like a zone look right there. Like he gets his eyes back in the backfield as he kind of gets in that back pedal, but he does not appear to be. He's not looking to crack the edge. He's not looking to contain the
No,
run on that, right? Like he's got 81 all the way. And there's Matt Collins. Yeah, that's baffling. That's fun. Anything else in that one, John?
no, I don't think so.
All right, dude. Yeah, we've done our due diligence, I think. All right. This is one. I'm put my thing back up here. So we got 12 personnel. This is one that I know you were on the field taking it all in, John. This is one on the TV copy. Vilma was saying they should have thrown to Dobbs. I looked at this. I had one opinion. Sounds like you may have another. So I kind of want to get into that a little bit. They're going to be running this high cross. They're sneaking that safety in the box. They go from a 2 high look, walk down to a 1 high, kind of offset a little bit before the snap. Got this high cross here. Safety bails, like kind of shows bail a little bit, but not really. It's kind of held to the middle. So now my thought on this, and again, we talked about this ahead of time, and it sounds like I am in the wrong here. What I had heard, you get this high cross, you got a single high safety. This guy crosses under. My understanding on this is the way they read this is you read where the safety is. If he's not bailing hard, you're throwing to the underman thinking this makes a harder path for him to go over. Now, your thought, it sounds like, and again, we'll kind of run this and talk about it with that in mind. At this point here, he's got there, this guy's bailing, loves looking. It looks like he's set to throw this way all the way. He's not bailing that hard, but he doesn't even look at the other guy. So if he frees it here, Dobbs is wide open. So in your estimation, what's the call here? Is that like once that safety shows that look, or just based on the placement of Dobbs?
I think
he should have gone to Dobbs.
I think based off of, and this is a phenomenal play. If you look at this play's called at the line of scrimmage, and we'll look at it from the tight copy a little bit later. But for me, as I watch this wide copy, rewind it just a little bit. You can watch Jesse Bates' hips, and his hips right there. Jordan Love's making right now. His read is, I'm going to go to the underneath guy if he backpedals at all. But once he flips his hips right there, Romeo Dobbs has him absolutely crushed. See, Jason Bates does his homework too, right? So as he sees this little crisscross route coming, he realizes I'm going to, initially have my feet in a direction to sell. You're going to have this throw to Wicks. And then I'm going to flip my hips as I see your feet are pointed in that direction to throw there. And Jordan Love, as he has his feet here, Jesse Bates is done. He's cooked. His back is to the route that Dobbs is going to run. And I feel like this is still at a time where Jordan Love can see where Jesse Bates is and his ability to hit Romeo Dobbs on this one. And this could have been a big play in the game. Obviously, these decisions are made in fractions of a second, but this was just after the flea flicker. The Falcons had just marched down the field and scored a touchdown. And had the Packers hit this play, this could have been the one that really sent the momentum back into their favor and ultimately got them some points on this drive and could have, put the game a little bit more out of reach than where it was at this point in time.
Yeah, because if he throws it, it's not that much. And my initial thought too, when I was looking at this, is a lot of times when you get this in breaker, if they're playing some kind of match coverage, once that declares inside, he kind of fades underneath, and so you take that away. But that's not the case at all. He just kind of holds in place still. He's held down by Dillon in the flat, it looks like. So, all right, no, that is good. So you want to look at the tight copy on that too, John?
Yeah. So what they do here is they just have Packers have a run play called that marries up with the exact same play action and pass, and as that safety rocks down into the box, which is going to continue to happen for the Green Bay Packers a lot this year.
Yeah,
there's a lot of rotations like this, especially until they start hitting some more deep balls. As soon as that safety rotates down into the box, Jordan Love alerts the offense that, hey, we're going to switch to this single high. And the whole point of this play is built for a single high safety. He cannot win on this play. If he jumps the underneath route, then you're going to Dobbs. If he plays back and backpedals, then you hit the underneath route, which is Wicks. Jesse Bates does a good job of staying really in the gray area on this one. But I can't help but feel as he backs up right about here in Jordan Love's progression is when Jesse Bates flips his hips. I think that's when Jordan Love can make the decision. I'm going to hit the right third on this one and hit Romeo Doubs.
Because he can bounce right. I mean, based on his feet, he is certainly looking to. He's throwing the underneath all the way and never really moves off of that. Is that just a? I don't want to say predetermined read because I think that has bad connotations to it. But that's just looks like the way he was going, and he did not gather enough information during the drop back to move off of that, or you think he's just going there no matter what, unless that safety like jumps underneath it?
Well, honestly, if you go back and you watch this type of run fake that he has, take a look. If you see this run fake that he has, he's trying to get depth at this point in time, but his momentum is still carrying him a little bit to the right here. So when he plants, if he does want to cork this one to the left, he's got to get his feet behind him and gathered to go that way. I can't help but think if he kept his shoulders more square on this one, he might have held Jesse Bates a little bit more to the right side.
Okay.
Would have left for his throat to be open. Nonetheless, the corner makes a great play here. Who was that corner? Was that Terrell that was on Wicks on this one?
I think it was Terrell. Yeah.
I mean, he's a fine cornerback. You go through the list of things of why it makes sense to hit Romeo on this one. More experienced wide receiver, probably a more polished route runner wide receiver, maybe a hair faster. Terrell, that's their best corner, and then Jesse Bates with the hip flips. I just thought this was one that Jordan Love's going to want to have back after he watches the film.
Yeah, just a missed opportunity. Well, you got anything else on that one, John? Anything else you want to talk about in the game while we're here? Or you feel good, or at least kind of bad, depending on what we've looked at today? How are you feeling?
There was a lot of good stuff in the film for Jordan Love, specifically in the first three quarters. He really did have some throws that were really on time and really strong, and he did have kind of an unflappable kind of disposition to him in the pocket when all kinds of things were changing and going on around him. And I think it's going to be a good game to be able to build on for this football team, because as they are young, they're going to find themselves in a lot more fourth quarters that are close football games, and they'll be able to go back to this failure in this fourth quarter as kind of a reminder of things that they have to tie up, loose ends that they have to tie up in order to finish these things off and get a victory. So obviously not the outcome that we wanted, but still a lot of good stuff that you saw in this film.
Couldn't agree more. John, thank you so much, man. Looking forward to next week and hopefully talking about a win this next time.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, brother.